We have two recipients of Federal Recovery Act grants for broadband, but unlike some of the grants that have been given out to dig up ditches, lay down fiber, and bring pipes into people's homes, Matt and Laura have both separately received grants for a different part of sort of the broadband experience and making sure people use broadband across the country. Laura, can you introduce yourself and talk a little bit about why what you guys are doing, what your grant is going toward?
Okay. Hi, I'm Laura Efurd, and I'm the Chief Community Investment Officer at Zero Divide. And our grant really is looking at how do we get people who are not using the internet or high-speed internet to adopt this particular technology, because it's so woven into the fabric of our society. You need it to get a job. To apply for a job in San Francisco, you have to do it online. You need it. Kids need it for their homework. You need it to access healthcare information or city services. And so our goal is really to address the barriers to adoption. The interesting thing is that the barriers differ by community. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's that they don't have access to an actual broadband pipe. Sometimes it's that they can't afford it. There's language barriers. Some people don't see what the relevant content is. So those are all the different barriers we're trying to address.
Sure. So I know that your grant is going toward Native communities in Southern California. Matt, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your grant that's going toward adoption in Chicago? And you had a really interesting statistic you told me about the low levels of adoption there.
Sure. My name is Matt Guilford. I'm the program manager for the City of Chicago's Digital Excellence Initiative, which was created by Mayor Daley to ensure that all Chicagoans have access to technology. And we're thrilled to have a BTOP grant focused around sustainable broadband adoption in 5 pilot communities in Chicago. We know that overall in Chicago, about 40% of residents don't have broadband at home. And as we were discussing earlier, the reasons really vary. So if you look from community to community, they're different. And through our approach, we're focused on having community-based organizations connecting with folks, providing access to technology, training for youth and residents and businesses, with the idea of finding out strategies that then we can scale citywide. Mm-hmm. And we're hoping that can be models for other cities that are dealing with similar issues.
Right. So there may be a wireless solution, for example, or community center solution in Chicago that may not work necessarily for a tribal community in Southern California. And there's no sort of cookie-cutter approach is sort of the takeaway.
That's right.
If you can talk to us a little bit about what you're doing in Washington, either of you, and why the Commerce Department brought you out here and what you learned and how we can make sure that our tax dollars are going to good work.
So the NTAA brought us out here to learn more from them about the requirements of the grant, and both the City of Chicago as well as Zero Divide are first-time federal grantees. So it's a daunting process to think about the reporting, and so they provided a lot of great information about that. But more importantly, we got to meet the other grantees and find out what they're doing, how they're solving problems in their communities, and we can learn from that and share our best practices and lessons learned.
And I think that last point is just absolutely critical. Many of us have been working on these issues for several years in different cities, and the ability to actually sit down and talk with each other about what's working, where we're facing challenges has been tremendous.
So when will you guys actually get the money? When will we see these centers and these different initiatives actually take off?
Well, so our goal for Chicago is to begin to open centers in January at the latest for our first centers, and residents will be able to use them for training, gradually scaling up over the first couple of quarters of 2011.
Terrific. And Laura?
Yeah, and for us, we're starting the programs, getting them ready at the end of the year, and the young people that will be participating in one of our programs will start, at the first of the year.
So Laura and Matt, how about we follow up in, say, 6 months to a year and see how things are going?
Sounds great.
All right, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.